Welcome back to Switchcast Live. I'm your host, Doug Tabbitt, founder of Switch Cars, and we're going to be having a lot of fun tonight. We really appreciate you tuning in instead of watching the GOP debate, right? I think we're going to have much more valuable wisdom and information happening here.
I definitely knew that was happening tonight. I really pay attention to oh, goodness.
More wisdom.
I did not know. I'm not sure if I care. Anyway, we don't talk politics here unless it's related to cars. So if you want to talk politics, spin it about cars, send your question in, and we'll talk about cars. Anyway, that brings me to questions. Yes. Last week we said it's going to be a Q&A episode. And funny enough, we had so much queued up to talk about that it was not a Q&A at all. So our apologies there, but we will certainly get to a number of your questions tonight. So TikTok, YouTube, Facebook viewers, throw those questions in, and good questions help. Good questions with tips help even more. Bad questions with great tips, those go right to the top.
Yeah. We do actually already have
sellouts.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to keep the lights on. We do actually have a super chat already on YouTube. This was before the show. So Fanfic Rocks here was just sliding in right away.
Okay.
With, I will admit, what seems kind of like a spicy question. So let's see how we can handle this one tonight.
You know, as I get older, spice gives me indigestion. So we'll see how this comes out.
We'll see. So Doug, what is your opinion on the complete, it says Cassie, I'm assuming Casey, meltdown from earlier this year, effectively crapping on VinWiki, and you getting praise from Rabbit?
He crapped on me getting praise from Rabbit?
Crapping on VinWiki.
Okay.
But then I guess you got praise from Rabbit at some point in some response you had.
Okay. Well, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this is kind of like car people gossip, VinWiki gossip, whatever. Some of you pay attention, some of you don't, and a lot of it doesn't matter. But in general, the storytellers on VinWiki, I'm not going to say we all know each other. Some people thought that I lived in Ed's garage or something. You know?
Really?
But, we're all car guys, fellow car guys, and for the most part, friends, acquaintances, whatever. But there's some egos, and mine is not the smallest one. Casey Putch made a video on his channel that essentially, and Casey Putch is a big-time storyteller on VinWiki, arguably one of the fan favorites, and he apparently never learned the phrase "don't bite the hand that feeds you," because he lit into Ed and Cannonball, and I really don't know what he said because I didn't watch the video. It wasn't worth my time, but I heard about it from everybody, and regardless of whether his opinions are valid or not, or how strongly he feels them, I think it was just a poor move, to burn that bridge. Because Casey has a big following of his own on YouTube now, and that would not have happened if it wasn't for VinWiki. They made him what he is in a sense. So I think that was poor. And, Rob Pitts, say what you will about him. He has his used car, kind of cheesy used car salesman persona. But he had a very good, very professional response to Casey and whatever. But, that's VinWiki family gossip. So let's get back to cars here. We had an email through Switchcast Live, which is our favorite website and should be yours too. That's where you can catch up on old episodes and find the best streaming platform for your use and preference. And we had an email from Bobby. I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name because it's going to show how white I am. Anyway, Bobby Otto. And he said that he found a kit car that we've been looking for a while back. I threw out a bounty that if you could find a kit car that truly needed nothing, and really the only one that's come across that someone submitted is the Prova Countach, which is
so cool.
It's a $100,000 kit car. Better need nothing. But anyway, and he sent a Facebook Marketplace link. along with a nice note. They have a used car dealer in Arizona, and they enjoy tuning into our podcast every week. So thank you for listening. I clicked on the listing today, and it was no longer up. So either is that good or that bad. So sorry. You should have screenshotted it for me. Screenshots are important. It's like taking a video of your traffic stop. Got to make sure it's permanent record. Oh, man. Anyway, so let's get to a few of the questions from last week. Play catch up here, and then we can get into our regular segments and any questions people send in.
Sure enough. So we have Abe Olson asked last week, where's the best place to get parts for a Powerglide transmission of a 63 Impala?
Probably off of another 63 Impala. In a junkyard or something.
Yeah, I'm not
Jegs.
Like Rock Auto, man. I don't know. Does Rock Auto go back that far?
That's a good question. Yeah,
that's not what I would expect to ask you, but I guess
maybe he meant to type that into Ask Jeeves.
Oh yeah.
And
it just
accidentally got switchcast.
Yeah,
we're a parts directory here. Yeah, I think you'd get a 63 Impala transmission off of another 63 Impala. That would be bad. Ideally,
seems reasonable.
You would pay for it too. It would not just be a random I saw one in my neighbor's driveway. That's not the best.
Drop
place.
that bad boy real quick, and I'll be on my way. Thank you.
That's how people get catalytic converters nowadays.
Yeah, seriously.
Good golly.
Jorge asks, Scion FRS Future Classic? ?
Well, of course. I mean, a lot of them are going to get wrecked on the track and in street takeovers.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have gotten wrecked with mods. So
many of them are modded now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you see a stock one, and it's to that point where you're almost impressed that it's still stock.
It's not wide body.
Whoa.
This FRS was marked safe from Stance Nation.
I drove one of those once with an automatic transmission, and the transmission was terrible. It was so bad. The car itself was pretty good, though.
Yeah, I drove one with a manual, and it was quite good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to ring it out, but that is kind of what makes it fun.
Yes.
But the slush box was terrible.
Yeah. No, So to answer the question seriously, but not helpfully at all, every modern car is a future classic. Like literally every one, whether they made a million or not. Because if they made a million of them, they're such commodities that 999,000 will get destroyed, and so eventually they'll be a classic. And if they made not that many of them, like the FRS and stuff like that, like enough of them will just get beat up, modified, whatever, that at some point there will be very few original low mileage cars, and they will be future classics. Like anything gets old enough, it may not be like the most desirable, but I mean, people are paying $15,000 for clean early Ford Taurus SHOs now.
Are they seriously that expensive?
Like that was my first car in high school, and I want one back for the nostalgia, but I really don't want one back. But because they all rusted out or had engine problems or whatever, people couldn't afford to race them. I mean, race them. I was thinking ahead in my thoughts. People couldn't afford to fix them, but then also people run them in lemons, and they go through like 2 motors a race. Like there's just none left. So bad car or not, there's 7 good cars in the country. Name your price.
We got a comment saying it'll never be a classic because it was an AE86 knockoff. And that the 93 SHO Yamaha was a classic.
I would rather have an FRS than an SHO.
Really?
Really. It has a better transmission. It's rear-wheel drive. It's better balanced. Like the SHO has a cool factor of we shoved a Yamaha engine into a Ford Taurus, but an FRS is a fundamentally better car. I mean, it's stating the obvious. It's 20 years newer, and it was designed to be a good car from scratch, whereas the Taurus was just a weird modification. Everything will be a future classic. It doesn't have to be like the most collectible thing on the planet, but everything will be.
Cross cabs, man.
Cross cabs are classic.
Already a classic.
Yes. That perfect example right
cross
there.
cab drivers at.
Everybody used to hate those cars. That was like the bastard child of Nissan that they never should have made, and now they're
They never
20
should have
grand
made.
for a good one.
And the top still won't work.
I said a good one. Oh, yes.
We've got another super chat from Fanfic Rocks.
Aw.
I
Thanks,
like this
Fanfic.
question a lot, though.
Mm.
I think. Does
Is
exotic?
what's the spice level?
Oh, this is
Is it like
completely
mild, medium,
different.
or
This is
spice
like no
1, 2,
spice.
3? Okay.
How many Scovilles? Is that the spice
Oh, I don't know
scale?
Scovilles.
Like no spice at American restaurant or no spice at a Thai restaurant? Those are
It's
two
still
different
no
things.
spice. Like just
No
we're it's
spice.
pretty even
All right.
keeled. So when exotic cars are in video games, do they help or harm the real world car values? And is there like an uptick in values if a new game comes out and like maybe this car is like the cover car or really featured well?
I mean,
Good question.
yeah. So I'm guessing, I haven't played it in a long time, but I'm guessing that Dodge Chargers and Nissan Altimas are in Grand Theft Auto because it certainly helped their value. I absolutely think it helps the value because it builds nostalgia, right? So when I grew up, I did not have social media and I lived in a small town. So I did not get to experience any supercars other than what I read in a magazine. So like the second level of that was being able to drive them in a game. And my interest in cars, both in the actual car and the color for that matter, has been formed by what I drove in those video games.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Jaguar XJ220 was the best handling car, one of them, in Need for Speed. And so I'm like, I want a Jaguar XJ220. It must be amazing. It must be so much better than all these other cars. And you constantly see when auctions are up, somebody's like the Panos or whatever. People, I remember playing this in this video game, that video game. So, yeah, I think it forms memories and nostalgia that once people who played video games have money, like, okay, I want that in real life.
Well, yeah, we've talked before that it's amazing how much old Need for Speed games influenced my taste in cars, even. And like, turns out a lot of folks in our like friend group are the same way. It's like what we used to race around in those games when we were younger is what we want now.
Did you have a graphite gray couch? Is that why?
No, the interior color was not something I dreamed of. It was an accident, and I just happened to like it. Oh,
No, I mean,
man.
because, let's dig a little deeper. Video games are, in a sense, a fantasy. So
Yeah. No, that's
you're
true.
living in a fantasy world. You can't
It's covered in graphite
you
gray.
can't go from Call of Duty to reality. Like, that has to stay in the fantasy world.
God, you hope so.
Same with Minecraft, but like cars,
Yeah.
you can actually live it out.
That's
They
true.
should have like major services in video games, though.
No, sorry.
It's totally, you're setting everybody up for failure.
Like your strut bearings go out and you gotta
Right.
wait. Like,
It's like you can't wreck. The only thing that can go wrong is you can get arrested in those games.
true.
But like, they don't teach you about depreciation, diminished value, and they don't go like, oh, hey, you have to turn off the game for 2 weeks because your car's getting a timing belt.
That's great. It's done in real time too, so you literally you have to walk everywhere in the game for 2 real world weeks.
You play
Please deposit $20 for the tow.
God, I
Oh,
remember
you waited a week too long. I'm sorry, your engine grenaded.
you play the old Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed, and the brand new cover car has an IMS bearing that goes out, and you
Yeah,
got to
right.
get a whole new car. Yikes.
Oh man, can you imagine if we redesigned video games based on real life? Like,
Oh, it would be
as adults,
disaster. Yeah,
and we
yeah.
like put our real world experience and the sarcasm back into it.
Well,
It
there's
would totally ruin it.
in Gran Turismo, you can like clean your car and do oil changes and stuff. So it's like a way to spend some amount of credits to tune up your car to make it slightly faster because it degrades slowly over time as you race it. But it's just another menu for you to listen to cool, smooth jazz while like nice things happen on the
Right, I
screen.
was
It's like
gonna
30
say, like,
seconds.
how long does an oil change take?
Oh yeah, it's like
And
30
does the
seconds.
EPA ever show up to
Oh,
do
no.
an inspection?
Not at all.
Well, they have like those car detailing simulator. Like the whole point of the thing is like it simulates you just washing a car. Like that's the whole thing, which is
That's weird because I don't
wild.
even like to wash my own car in
Yeah.
real life.
yeah. No, people love it. It's
I would like to simulate somebody else washing my car.
yeah. Like you have to
'Cause I'm that
simulate like
bougie.
yeah, like you have to get on the phone with someone from the service center and you actually have to talk to them in the game. And you got to drive your car there. Like that'd be
Oh,
great.
God. Great?
In a sardonic kind of way.
I love that word. Oh man. Okay, let's on that note, let's go to a commercial and then we'll get back to questions.
Switchcast is brought to you by Boxcast. Boxcast is a live streaming company based in Cleveland, Ohio, and they serve broadcasters and viewers around the world. Their founders launched Boxcast back in 2013 with one purpose, and that is to make people a part of the experience. If you're looking to live stream your podcast, church service, car show, sporting event, wedding, or even your cannonball attempt, Boxcast is an easy and flexible live streaming platform for organizations. Boxcast is so easy that we're broadcasting the show with a phone. So head on over to switchcars.com/Boxcast for your free trial. And Doug, normally the Corvette curmudgeon pays us a visit, and you go do whatever it is you do. What's up? Where is he today?
Oh yeah. So he sent me a letter in the mail and said that he couldn't make it tonight because he was leaving for Corvettes at Carlisle, which is the big Corvette mecca that they have in Pennsylvania. And I looked it up. It starts tomorrow, but I think he needed to be 2 days early to get his preferred parking space.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he probably didn't even take his Corvette, I imagine. He's probably just there to see other people's Corvettes, right?
That's a very good question.
We'll have to talk to him when he comes back.
Yes, we will. So let's do the appraiser.
Ooh,
Let's
yes.
get that out of the way.
Get it. You say this as if you've had an unfortunate experience,
Oh
Doug.
man.
I
Well,
swear I was trying to be nicer.
it's funny because if we play this game too long, people are going to stop listening to the podcast because they're going to go, Doug, how does Doug survive in the car business? He's absolutely clueless.
There's no softballs here ever.
No.
I went slightly softer this week.
Oh.
Right.
I
So-
did run the risk of us picking the same car, though.
All right.
Okay, so I kind of wish. What car did you pick for me last week? Quick
So,
summary.
last week for Doug, I picked an incredible 1997 Porsche 993. It is a 3.8 RSR Cup car that was never raced, delivered to Japan when new. Jerry Seinfeld brought it over here. It looks amazing. It's body in white, so it was never liveried, never crashed. Incredible. But also,
I guessed $440,000.
yes.
Okay, out of curiosity, what would you have guessed? Did you have a number when you first saw
I
it?
would have done like 5 or 6, I think.
Okay, so you're better at this than I am.
Well,
All right,
but just barely.
And it bid to. It didn't even sell at this number.
No, do you? So it bid to 861.5.
Oh.
Do you know what the buy it now is right now
Yeah,
on
it's
Deal Tank?
1.1 million, I think.
1.1 million.
I mean, that makes sense, right? That was one of those that I'm like, okay, this could go for crazy the moon because like a 993 GT2 is almost $2 million. A regular 3.6 993 RS is $500K. Yeah, I get it. It's just really hard to value a race car. It's really hard. So I missed by 50%.
48.9, but who's keeping track?
You are. So
Honestly, I wasn't far off.
I picked for you a Porsche 356 wide body speedster recreation by Vintage Motor Cars. And that had been run on drive down cars and then on P cars. So you had a little bit of an advantage because you knew like what they were asking. So you at least knew the range to guess.
Yeah,
in.
if I definitely would have looked that up while you were talking about it last week, I would have had that advantage.
I told you it was on drive down cars. I told you the reserve.
I don't remember that. I must have
Yes.
blacked out. I'm sorry.
So you guessed $65,000.
Yes.
And it bid to $45,000, which is actually what I said. I'm great at your cars. Yes.
So I
was
missed
dead on.
by 44%, which is a
Hold on.
lot.
Hold on, though. There was an offer in the auction flow before Deal Tank that was at 50 grand. So I say we count that because within the auction, flow there was an offer post auction for 50. So
Okay.
because it's a no sale, that's still an offer. That's a bid, even though it's after auction close. I say that counts.
I will take your kindness. I was ready to accept the just bid to amount.
No, it's all good. Well, at least if we were actually buying for that number, I would have doubled my money. Let's put it that way. I'm just so good at my job
Exactly.
that I wanted to double my money.
They are asking buy it now on P-Car Market 62.5 for that Speedster right
Yeah.
now. Which,
Yeah. I think the high bid was right on the money. Well, of course I do. That's
well,
what
yeah,
I picked.
It seems like you're biased there, Doug.
Okay, for you, next week, I went to Cars and Bids.
Okay, we didn't pick the same car. I was nervous.
Yeah. And there's like 1,000 cars we could choose from. The odds of picking the same one is pretty. I can't do the math, but it's like 1 in 1,000.
I picked a very me car, though, that you might have. I don't know. Yeah, continue.
Yeah. Anyway, a wagon, because you like wagons.
Yes.
It is a 5-speed manual. It is a JDM car, so it's right-hand drive.
Okay.
It is a 1996 Mitsubishi Legnum, not a legume. That's what you would eat. That's like a peanut, right? Peanut
Don't you
is
have
a
to be
legume,
careful
not
to
a nut.
eat those? Or no, I'm thinking of sprouts. You got to be careful; they can make you sick.
No, yeah,
Right.
legume's just a.
Anyway, it's twin turbo V6, unmodified, which I guess is rare. BBS wheels, 124,000 miles in trigger mauve exterior.
This looks so good.
It is in New Jersey. It's on a U.S. title, so all those barriers are removed. It does look very good. The photography is on point. Presentation score of like 9.
I've also always thought these were really cool. I don't know, something about the front end just really does it for me.
So, what do you think that is going to go for?
Oh boy, I am going to say I have no idea.
I'm not trying to be cruel. I picked a wagon for you.
You did, and I should probably know. I'll guess 15 grand. It's high,
Probably
but
a reasonable guess.
it's a manual wagon, and I love Trigger Mauve. Like I don't know who came up with that color name. That's amazing.
That honestly, it sounds like Trigger Mauve sounds like something that the Corvette curmudgeon would say to make his wife angry. I triggered Mauve.
Oh my goodness! Did you see the seats on
Yes,
this?
the cloth seats. Are they Recaros?
No, they're just like got some funky pattern in the inserts.
No.
I'm
funky pattern. Yeah, they do. Wow, that's 90s Japanese. Yeah.
Oh, and the gauges. Ooh.
All right, what'd you
It's getting
pick
hot
for
in
me?
here. So I went to bring a trailer and picked something for you similar to something you picked for me a couple weeks ago. There is a 91 964 turbo that is turquoise over cashmere.
Blue turquoise?
Turquoise metallic. So it's that like green, very brightish green that I don't think the listing says how many were made in this color. It cannot be many.
One of one.
One of one.
Okay, U.S. car or Euro?
I believe it is. I should actually try to figure that. It's in miles, so I think it's a U.S. car. Yeah,
Okay.
sold new in Massachusetts.
How many miles?
16,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interior color?
Cashmere, which is
Sport
unfortunate.
seats or regular seats?
Regular seats.
Presentation score. How's it look?
It looks really good.
Yeah.
I'd put this 9 or probably 9.
All right. Good Carfax. No stories. Any weird stuff to know? Does it have a COA, window sticker, documentation? Give me the quick rundown.
I don't believe there's any funny business. I don't see a window sticker or COA anywhere.
I'm gonna go 225.
225.
I feel pretty confident in that, but then I'm like I could be way off. But that color, I think, sells it in the low mileage.
Like I said, there cannot be many in this color. It looks like no, those are just receipts. It had like an engine rebuild in 2018.
Oh,
Head
perfect.
bolts
Yep.
were done. There were some oil tube line situations that were replaced.
Okay, cool. So, speaking of auction results and that Carrera 3.8 RSR that went for bonkers money, which
Bananas.
somebody may say, "Oh no, that's what they go for." It was bonkers money compared to what I thought it should. So,
Yeah.
Monterey just happened this weekend. I know you wanted to talk about this a little bit, and
Yes.
Monterey Car Week is not only an amazing festival of automotive everything, but it is a market maker and a market shaper for kind of the rest of the year for collector cars. A lot of people will refrain from buying or selling in the month before Monterey because they want to see what happens. And then that doesn't really change what they do anyway afterwards. But that is where people get their data points. And there was some big data points, right? So from last year to this year, we've been watching the collector car market and the market in general, and it's mostly ticked downward. In fact, the overall wholesale market on cars declined 1.4% last week. And that follows a trend that's been happening all summer where it's between 0.5% and 1% a week per summer. So you're talking about like 3 to 5% decline per month on the wholesale side just for the last 3 to 4 months straight. So what the Fed is doing with interest rates and the general, just general cost of living, inflation, and other things are putting a squeeze on people's budget, and that is affecting the car market. But you'd think that rich people apparently don't know that's happening because Monterey was nuts.
There was so much stuff that went for so much
Yes.
money.
All sorts of records set. A regular LFA, a non-Nürburgring edition, sold for $1.1 million.
Whoa.
A Honda NSX-R, which I've been chasing and started chasing before I got the Diablo, and really wanted to own one, but I had found a couple for like $350, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's a little too much for a driver. I can find one for less because I know people in Japan. I'll bring one over. An NSX-R sold for $650.
What?
Yeah.
What was do you remember off the top of your head? I can find it. What Cultivated's green one went for and Bring a Trailer? That was big money too, wasn't it?
It was like 300 something.
Okay.
Yeah. A Miura sold for $3.5 million. Lamborghini Miura. It was an excellent example, but it sold for $3.5. The interesting thing about it was that brass era cars set a bunch of high sale records. Now, from my wonderful contact Matthew Ivanhoe at Cultivated Collector, he said the cars that sold were phenomenal examples, and those are the ones that set the records. However, we've opined, and a number of people have, not just us, people say, well, the pre-1950 cars are all going to decline in value because their original owners and the people that care about them and know how to work on them and are preserving their value are all dying. And so the values are going to die with them. But that did not happen. There is so much money chasing collectible cars that those cars went for big money.
Which I guess it makes sense, as if there's just all this money in cars, it's bound to go there. But it does seem strange because you would think that what everybody's been saying for so long is true, that it'll eventually just kind of taper off.
I think what's happening, and I don't think that this will save the like 50s to 70s, we'll say American cars anyway. But I think what's happening is that the brass era and post-war cars are such works of art. They are absolutely beautiful. There's nothing like them. There never will be anything like them. And younger collectors are looking at alternative asset classes, and they're, collecting them as if they were art, right? So they're not buying the nostalgia. They're not buying like what we would buy. I played this car in Need for Speed and I want it now. This is some sort of investment, and it's a piece of art. Regardless of whether or not they have a connection to that car through their family or anything. It's just a new type of collectible. So that's my opinion on why those are staying up.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see as things continue to progress where those cars end up. I think it's valid. It is a little depressing to me because that's not how my brain thinks of cars, but I guess I don't know how much you want to drive one of those things anyway. So, like maybe for funsies, but it's not like not a bunch of people are saying I want to go on a canyon road in a
Sure.
30s Bentley.
There's a lot of
It would be
prestigious
cool.
events, though, that
Yeah.
those cars will gain you entry into. So for some of that, they're buying entry into the Mille Miglia, the Colorado Grand, vintage racing events, concours. They want to be, people want to be recognized. They want to have status, whatever it is, and those cars give them something that quote unquote money can't buy. But money can buy it because it's like, well, I'm going to buy this car so that I get an invitation to Pebble Beach Concours or whatever.
It is. So I was here thinking that, because I wanted to ask you, in your mind, how much would you peg a really clean, low mile, like 4,000 or 5,000 mile, Ferrari 360 Spider with a manual transmission?
Oh, so did this sell this weekend?
Yeah, so I don't pay.
Okay.
I wasn't paying too close attention, but I had the stream up while I was putzing around,
Sure.
doing stuff, and when this hammered, I was
What
kind
year?
of shocked.
Was it a late car?
Yeesh,
That
that's
matters some.
good
You said it's a factory manual. What color?
black, and it had a black interior.
Did it have racing seats or anything big like that? Modular wheels? Any crazy options, or just fairly normal options? You said 5,000 miles.
Yeah, 5,000 miles. It's a 2003.
Okay, late car. That's good.
Or yeah, 4,500 miles.
Okay, I mean a blue one sold recently. I think with the racing seats for in the low twos. I think on Bring a Trailer, but that car was everything. It was the color, it was the options, everything. So a black car with 5,000 miles with the Monterey tax, I'd say like 225.
Hammered for 268.
Okay,
That just seemed
that's a lot.
bananas to me.
That's a lot.
And I mean, I know it's like essentially perfect. It's got such low miles, yada yada yada. But still, like, that is a lot of money.
It is a high watermark for sure. It's the most any of them that I know of have ever sold for. So it's another record.
Plus whatever the auction fees are on top of that for what they actually paid. It's probably closer to 3.
Sure. Yep. Another 10%. So, yeah.
Yeesh.
Oh yeah. Let's go to commercial and then let's get to some questions.
Alrighty, Switchcast is also brought to you by Celebrity Machines. Celebrity Machines offers more than 250 different screen-accurate license plates as they've appeared in movies and TV shows, such as Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, The Fast and the Furious, Breaking Bad, and so many more. Celebrity Machines also makes our dealer insert plates, as well as our commemorative 2539 plates from the fastest cannonball run ever. Visit CelebrityMachines.com for more info and use promo code SWITCHCAST to save 25.39% at checkout.
I think on the audio stream, if they can hear this, it sounds like I'm like sharpening knives.
Yeah. Doug's getting ready for me to say something really bad. And then there will be no more Tyler. He's gone.
Well, no, we're preparing for the cooking show that immediately follows this.
Oh.
Yes.
We do have another super chat from Fanfic Rocks.
Hey.
Wow.
So they're really wanting to chat with us tonight.
Very kind.
Paying Ethan's salary.
Yeah.
Salary.
You're getting paid? So they're
Yes, Ethan
asking
gets paid.
in layman's terms, in the Porsche world, what the pecking order is for the model. So how does the GT2, GT3 Cup, like how do they all fall?
Sure. So technically the Turbo is their flagship model, right? So if you're buying a new car, a 911 Turbo S would be the top tier. And then they have like exclusive editions and all that crap. A GT2 would be above that, but they're typically priced the same as a Turbo S because they take some things away and add some things. And it's more of a hardcore, like, not every guy is buying a Turbo S. You're buying a GT2 because you really want one. But, yeah, overall, I would say it's Turbo S and GT2 for a new car, and then GT3 RS Well, we got to look at generations too. I'm still thinking in my brain like 15 years ago when I was buying new Porsches. Now the GT3 RS is absolutely the top tier because like the collector guys have taken over the market, and I think after Porsche did their VIP program with if you buy the 918, you get all the new GT cars. That rocketed the GT3 cars to the top of the pecking order.
Yeah.
So now it would be like GT3 RS touring blah blah blah, paint to sample,
Deviated stitching.
GT3 RS, GT2 RS are both at the top. Any RS car, any GT cars at the top, but then like GT4 RS would be next. Standard GT3, touring would be above the GT3, then 911 Turbo, because again now 911 Turbo is like okay, whoop-de-doo. But 15 years ago is the opposite. The Turbo was by design by Porsche. That was their flagship model. So Turbo S would be the top one. So yeah, it's depends on generation, but that's kind of an answer, I guess.
I will admit, if you're not into it, it's probably super confusing. Because we're just throwing on a bunch of 3-letter so the GT2,
the ones with the big wings and the stickers.
Well, that makes
are
sense.
the top ones. I mean, sort of, but like, it's like I feel like I'm talking about a Chevy Cavalier with modifications. The ones with the big wing and sticker are the coolest ones. No, they're not. Oh, man.
Another super chat here, Devin Ruckus, consistent listener here of the Switchcast. Good to have you back in chat with us tonight. Is it really that uncommon to see a Corvette being driven A to B in the wild? I got awesome car 3 times leaving a parking lot yesterday night.
I don't think it is. I see a fair number of them out and about, especially on Saturday mornings at 5:30 a.m. No, just when it's sunny. No, I think I see them a lot. But, I mean, the Corvette is an American icon. So I think you're always going to get thumbs up.
Yeah.
Especially if you have good wheels or it's lowered or anything like that to differentiate it, people respond to that. My old silver C5 was bone stock other than super wide wheels and lowered. And I got so many thumbs up and stuff. And I'm like, this is a base, boring color C5. But I don't know. I guess people love stance.
Yeah, stance niche, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we can go to TikTok.
I just don't
Hi,
want to
TikTok.
monopolize the time over here.
We've we've got a few in here. Extra Ched says, Doug, what has been the best responding car you've driven that was made pre-2000?
I need to think about that for a second. Give me the next question.
Sure. Anson says, and I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. What do you think of Hilux?
Hilux.
Toyota
Hilux.
LN106.
I don't know what the LN106 is. I'm going to look it up real quick. I know what the Hilux is. I think they're awesome. Awesome cars. It's a, JDM Toyota Tacoma, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The LN106 is like an off-road version. That's awesome, and I want one.
We unlocked a new desire for Doug tonight.
And it has rad graphics.
Ooh, love me some red.
That is sick. And
He
it's sort
likes
of
it.
burgundy. Yeah, I wish I knew about this before they went up in value, because inevitably they probably have already.
Late to the party.
Yep. Yeah, no, I've always loved the JDM Toyota stuff. But yeah. Very, very cool.
Did you think of your best responding?
Oh, best responding.
Pre-2000.
Pre-2000. Yeah. In my mind, it's a car I've never driven because I drove it around the parking lot and I knew that it was just going to be good. And it was an E30 M3 lightweight. And it was, just everything about it was perfect. Perfect. Yeah. but I never actually drove it. Oh, I'll stay on the BMW train here. I drove a BMW 2002 Turbo with a fresh restoration, and I couldn't wring it out from an acceleration point of view because the engine had not had its break-in period yet, but everything about that car was epic. I felt like I was at one with the road. Was it the best handling car I've ever driven? No, but it had a great feel and beautiful steering response. So yeah, there's a reason BMW. Well, I was gonna say there's a reason BMW had the term "the ultimate driving machine," but it's because their marketing term coined it and trademarked it.
They gave it to themselves.
Yes, they lived up to that up until like I don't know the early 2000s, and then they got kind of
They lost their way.
Yes.
We
Yes.
a couple more super chats here on YouTube. Clarification from Devin as well. They've got a cammed and blacked out C6. So I think that helps. Are you getting that, Ethan?
Oh,
You make that as we can get a Doug soundboard in here, so we can just make that happen. Intro to the show. Blah, 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 blah.
Sounds like a racing boat.
Cotton Candy Randy asks, is the 997 GT3 going to continue to climb in value?
So I have a question for Cotton Candy Randy. Is that like your marketing name? Like you sell cotton candy at the ball games and the carnivals, and you're like, "Hey, I'm Cotton Candy Randy," or do you like cotton candy in such an odd British way that you're like Randy for cotton candy?
Is that a British term?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
As he was saying it, it came into my head. I was like,
Oh.
oh, that is a. So that was I like that.
Yeah. I think cotton candy is disgusting for
Not
what
a
it's
fan.
worth. And literally
No.
anything
It's
flavored
airy
cotton
sugar.
candy,
Yeah.
awful.
Not a
even
fan.
worse.
It's true. That is the worst flavor of anything.
It's not even a flavor though, because cotton candy is sugar, and it's like, let's make a sugar flavored other sugar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the flavors are like fake. It's like blue raspberry cotton candy. You're like, that's just a disaster.
It's a color.
Blue
Yeah.
raspberry's not
It's
even
literally
a thing.
just like
the
blue
No.
4.
Ugh, goodness.
You're tasting the chemicals of the color.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, that's those artificial flavorings. It's like you don't need to know what it's called. You just need to know the color. Like when you're like, what flavor is it? Oh, it's purple. Like you know what purple tastes like. What flavor is that? It's red. You know what red tastes like. Like they don't need to tell you what the flavor is, especially blue. Anyway,
Yeah, we're getting way off the rails over
Sorry.
here.
Was that it? Was there more to the? To
What
the
was his question?
I don't even think
I
we
forgot.
got to it yet.
In
Cotton
chat,
Candy
Cotton
Randy.
Candy Randy says, essentially yes. I don't know what he's responding. Which
Doggone
one of
it,
those?
man, we lost our
He's
train of
He's
thought
so
here.
Randy for cotton candy that he's nicknamed himself Cotton Candy Randy, and he sells it
Love it.
at carnivals.
So his question was, is the 997 GT3 going to continue to go up in value?
The 997 GT3. Man, this is I don't like answering these questions.
I
right?
know. He's giving us
based
money.
on what's happening with the collector car market. Apparently, everything is going to continue going up in value forever and never going to stop because it just keeps going and going. In the last 6 months, 997 GT3s have gone up in value again from their dip earlier this year, which kind of everything did. I mean, they tracked the general collector car market, which it was up last year. It like late spring last year, it kind of fell for about a year, and then it started coming back again. But I think the 997 GT3s will have enduring power because of their rarity, because of how good they are fundamentally. It's not just like, oh, this is a rare car that's going to be a future classic because they made a few of them or whatever. Like, they're just awesome driving cars. They look good. They have great brand provenance. It's a term I just made up. I'm really proud of it. It's the Metzger engine, right? They're essentially bulletproof. They sound good. And like there's just always buyers that want GT3s. Everybody I know that sold one has bought another one, almost without exception. Because they've gone,
I'm
oh,
not
that was a
surprised.
great car. Yeah.
Oof. I don't like that answer. You're probably right, but I dislike it strongly because it means it's further out of my reach. So I need to. Maybe I should start selling
You
cotton
need to
candy
jump
like
on that
Randy.
993 train soon.
I can't. Yeah. My problem is they're all so far away. If an Aventurine one showed up in my backyard, I'd have a hard time saying no.
You're that buyer. On the internet, I'd buy this if it wasn't 500 miles away. Is one of 7. You're not going to find one in your backyard.
I need to figure out what's next because everything I want is getting prohibitively expensive.
Speaking of dumb buyers, let's go to the Wall of Shame. Yeah, the Wall of Shame is where we get to reverse review customers who say dumb things to us. You can leave a dealer a review on Google and trash their name. Well, we can't break privacy laws and put customers' names out there, but we'll make fun of what they said. This a couple weeks ago, we had a call. A guy wanted to sell a Lotus Elise Turbo, right? That's a not an Esprit Turbo, an Elise Turbo, and not an Elise Supercharged, which they do from the factory, a Turbo, right? So they never did that, which is a little bit concerning because you put too much power into those Toyota 1.8-liter engines, and you go, I think 300 was like the max because Lotus stopped at 260, I think, in their Cup and their Exige S. So yeah, beyond 300, you had to rebuild the internals, or people would just do like K20 swaps. Anyway, so we requested, this was over the phone, we requested pictures and VIN number to be sent over so we could like look at it and give him a number on the car. The customer said, "Oh, you can't give me another." Try that again. "Oh, you can't give me a number over the phone because this car is a rocket ship."
All right.
Needless to say, that ended that.
You tell me they didn't show?
Okay, if it's a rocket ship, jump in it and get it over here.
Yeah.
Sir, when can you come into our dealership?
Hui.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that one was pretty fun. A lot of the Wall of Shames are very like antagonistic or whatever. That one was just like good fun. I'm like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
But
no.
yes, we can give you a number over the phone.
Yeah.
But if you think we can't, you probably think your rocket ship is worth more than reality. So, Dan, I'd love a little bit of that too. Thanks for the refill. Well, this is my water glass, but you could fill that too. Dan is not on payroll, but he's about to be on camera while his right hand is.
Yeah.
His shadow
Thank you for the
is,
refill.
Refilling our necessary fuel for the podcast in the
Yes.
form of brown corn alcohol.
One step removed from the Wall of Shame is the shrewd negotiator, which is people who are negotiating so hard that they're very, very dangerously close to being on the Wall of Shame. And this was a good one this week via Instagram, and it is not done yet because I'm checking actually right now to see if you made an offer. Nope, didn't make an offer yet.
Live updates.
So I've got a Shelby GT500 asking $105,000. It's a Twister Orange, super nice car, track pack. It has like 200 miles on it. So go find another one, right? So he messages me, his opening message, other than checking to see if it was available, was, "You guys bought it for $97,500, right?" That's never a good start. That's like the new car dealer equivalent of, "I know what your invoice is." Especially in today's market, like 8 years ago, invoice kind of mattered because you're like, "Hey, I can buy it for invoice." Now it's like, okay, cool, you know what invoice is, but we're selling them for $8,000 over sticker, so that knowledge is completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
So I just responded. I said, I'm not sure how what we paid is relevant, especially now that we're selling it on behalf of a retail customer that we bought it for. So like we're removed from the original transaction. And he said, well, I know the original owner of the car, and he said he sold it to you guys for $97,500. I was interested, but not for the listed price at $105,000. And I'm like, is
Cool,
that
bro.
because you learned what he sold it for? So anyway, so I just said, well, we didn't buy it from him directly. There was somebody else involved, so there's markup there. So that's not what we paid, and we shipped it, and we sold it to somebody else. So we're 2 transactions removed from $97,500. It is absolutely no longer relevant. And so I just said, well, what would you offer? No response. So I pinged him again. At what price would you be a buyer if not 105? No response.
Hmm.
And I'm like, all of my judgment and my stereotype from experience comes out, and I'm like, let me guess. Your friend offered it to you for 97.5, and you didn't buy it then either, because you're like, I mean, the car's stickered at 78. I want to send him a picture of the sticker and be like, so did you know that he paid 78? So do you want to buy it for 78 because he bought it for sticker? Like,
I just don't get
this
that
knowledge
logic.
doesn't help you at all.
Yeah. And, like, who cares what somebody bought it for if the market is something different and you're, like, running a business, and if you want the car, you got to pay up.
That's a valid question, actually. I should respond and say, what would you expect to make on a car if you put out $100,000 of your own money that is worth approximately 10% is the going rate for interest, that's worth 10% a year? What would you expect to make, or what would you like to make?
Yeah. It's like people seem to forget that because I'm imagining they're thinking you're just some sleazeball dealer.
Like, would you put out $100,000 and risk losing it and also have the opportunity cost of not making 6% in a high yield savings account? Would you do that for $2,000?
Yeah.
Nope.
Right.
Nobody would.
Right.
Oh yeah, plus overhead and employees and yada yada yada. So, anyway, these people, it's always
These people.
yeah. Just make an offer. Just say, hey, I don't like it at 105. I like it at 100. But
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what he offers, and if he does make an offer, I will update you all next week. So, and if the guy's watching, well,
Uh-oh.
make me an offer, bro.
That's some continuity.
No. Is there a super chat?
There
in
is a super
Well,
chat.
then by
Another
all
one
means.
from
We are making
Fanfic
bank
Rocks.
tonight. Are we
Look
up to
at
like
that.
$8 yet?
I think we might have crested over $8.
Yeah.
We hit
Doug.
double digits.
We're,
Damn,
uh,
pour me some whiskey. We're celebrating.
We're but not too much. We're not celebrating that much.
I didn't pay for the whiskey, so
So Fanfic Rocks asks
I can
now,
afford it.
do you think you can come to Australia and do a cannonball run? For example, do
No. No.
Because somebody did respond to them saying Australia is deceptively large. That
I don't
one,
care
and also
about
their
the
cops
largeness.
are ridiculous.
The cops are crazy, and it's like breaking a national law. It's not like you can get to a different state and be okay. They are crazy about speeding. They're very good at enforcement, and they are very, very, very strict. Like, they'll take your car away and throw you in jail, and that's it.
I see them shared on some Facebook groups I'm in of like cops bragging that they're impounding some tuner car that was going, 110 down the highway or something.
Yeah, so there actually used to be a cannonball run, and I believe it was in Australia. It had nothing to do with the original cannonball run, and it was a sanctioned checkpoint to checkpoint race, but they shut the roads down for this event. So it was supposedly going to be safe. But I don't think the road conditions were up to par for the speeds they were doing. And there was, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a Ferrari F40 that lost control right near a checkpoint and ended up killing a couple safety workers and stuff.
Whoa.
So that got shut down, of course, immediately. But of course, that gets lumped into all speeding is dangerous as well. But there was very obvious errors in the part of the planners and how they had done safety from reading the comments. I wasn't there, but reading the people that opined about this, that made that a dangerous event. So yeah, any mention of cannonball in Australia is not well received in terms of practice. Although they do love the cannonball record over there. We got a fair amount of press when we did the record in Australia. People loved it over there. Maybe because they can't.
I was going to
do
say,
it
that's
there.
them dreaming. Like, I wish we could speed even a little.
Yeah. Good question.
No,
I would love to come to Australia. I hear it's beautiful.
I do appreciate all your interaction tonight, Fanfic Rocks. It's good to have you in chat.
I want to give a shout out to Jake M, who just purchased a 1-month subscription on TikTok to us. We'll be honest.
Hey.
I don't entirely know what that means or looks like, but
Ethan, it's your job.
it is.
to
It is
know.
my job.
get paid
This
to
is,
know
I'm
this.
allowed to not know what it means. I am half Corvette curmudgeon.
This is
here.
a first. This is a first for me. No one subscribed to us before. I gotta look at. What
I
this
think we're supposed to make exclusive content for the subscribers.
Right. We are. We haven't. Don't unsubscribe though. Don't unsubscribe.
This is the start of something good. Thank you, Jake M.
yes.
for being the
thank
number
you.
one fan, and this is launching our new TikTok subscription.
Yeah,
This is Ethan's.
our official
I didn't think
launch.
we'd get this far moment.
No. I always knew we would. No, but now whenever he comments, he gets a little car icon with a little thing that says "switch" next to it, so people know that he's really important. And
Nice.
if
What kind of car?
It better be a 911. I
Does he
swear
get
to God.
to pick it?
it's the
or-
emoji car, the
Oh.
red one. It's the red car.
I think that's a station wagon, but
To answer the question,
Are
he
there
just
proportions
commented,
right?
"Am I actually the first?" No.
No.
Yeah.
No. The first tonight.
No. The first
The first
tonight,
tonight.
of course.
we had a big waiting list. Actually, we were in preview mode, and
We're
we
vetting
just,
them. Yeah.
We just released the ability to subscribe.
Yes. Yeah.
So
He said, "Just wanted to support y'all in any way I can." So thank you, Jake M. Seriously, that is awesome. We really appreciate you there.
you've given Ethan something to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta go look into this. This is good. Now we gotta make subscription content. I guess that's good. It's good though. Daniel 080113 says, "Do you guys think the NA Miata prices will go up as time goes by, or stay near where they are now?"
I mean,
Where
they're
are they
not
now? Excuse my
really
ignorance, but-
collectors.
Don't you have an NA Miata here, like now, or
yes,
listed
we
somewhere?
have a '92 Miata here. They'll always be desirable, right? All of the Miatas will. NA was the first generation, and it has some appeal for that. Will it go up in value? I don't think it's going to skyrocket. I think they will track upwards, or they will track with the rest of the sports car market. Long term, they'll probably outpace some of their competitors because they're so dang reliable. More and more Mercedes SLKs will rust into the ground and break, and more Boxsters will have engine failures and become too expensive to maintain, and the Miatas will just keep on trucking. So, yeah, sure, that generally, but I don't. They're not going to double in value tomorrow or anything like that. But yeah, I think it's a good, desirable long-term car.
We got a comment saying, "I think all Miatas will go up in price. They don't make compact, lightweight sports cars."
They don't make them like they used to.
FRS,
Or how about the
124
Miata now?
Spider, or the Miata now. Well, I mean, yeah, but he's right. There's not a lot.
I mean, does like a GR86 fall into that category?
Yeah,
or-
sure.
sure, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the GR86 and the
Supra?
BRZ and the FRS are all the same car. Well, the FRS doesn't exist
Supra is
anymore.
not lightweight.
Supra's not right. It doesn't fall into that category. that you
No,
just
the
said.
cars I were talking about are the same platform.
Yeah.
Got it.
Just the Scion doesn't exist anymore.
718 Boxster. I mean, that's compact and lightweight. It's expensive as all get out,
Yeah.
but
Does that have the 9A1 engine, so no IMS problems? right?
no, that's the twin turbo 4-cylinder.
Oh,
The
so
one that sounds
entirely
like a
after
Subaru.
that. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
mid-engine Subaru BRZ convertible. The definition of lightweight though from an NA Miata though and new is totally different. Like you could literally fit an NA Miata inside of a new Boxster. So
Yeah,
I get
you're
what
right.
he's getting at, and I think he has a valid point.
Datsun 510. Someone just commented.
We talked about that last week.
So the guy who commented that meow 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 is his name. He asked this a while ago, so he's clearly been with us. Thank you for sticking with us. He wants to know the best year of the 928.
Oh gosh. I mean, I think the best year is the last year. That's generally true.
Is that true for every
of-
generation?
No, it's not true of everything. The best year of the Boxster of the 986 Boxster was the first year, because same thing with the Porsche 996, because they were made in Stuttgart and then they moved the factory and cheapened their manufacturing. So that defied all, normal knowledge where you say you never buy a first year car. But the 928's improved and improved and improved. And the final year GTS is the prettiest, the best performing, the most reliable, which is still on a relative scale. They're extremely expensive to maintain. So, yeah, but some people like the early cars because they're carbureted. So if you're buying from a collector point of view, I'd say buy one of the first years and one of the last years. The 928 S4, which is 86, I believe, like 86 to 89 is the best, most affordable one, because the GTSs are over six figures for a good one. And the S4, you could still pick up a decent one for like 30 to 40 grand. So one of those, early, late 70s carbureted car, an S4, or a last year GTS.
Got another super chat from Fanfic Rocks.
Man, oh man.
Really? You just want to talk to us tonight, and we're loving it. Are
He's
you
actually
going
outside?
If he subscribes on TikTok, he gets access to a subscriber-only chat.
Yes,
Oh.
there you go.
I just learned that.
Ethan's over here Googling things between his
well,
question reads.
I actually remembered setting us up. Now that I looked at it, I remembered setting us up for the subscription thing, which is like you get access to talk to us, and you get like notified, and you get the badge next to your name. But it's a very
You just want people to talk to you instead of me.
I think he pushed me on this, and I felt weird a little bit selling myself like that.
yeah, because
felt
we
like
also
a
talked
product.
about what's the thing that people the Patreon, right?
Yes.
It's like you can see us talking about a car before we post it the next day on TikTok, where everyone can see us talking about the car. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Early
I
access.
I digress. I didn't mean to.
So Fanfic Rocks asks, are you going to burn the midnight oil to watch the Bathurst 1000 in October?
I might lose some subscribers here,
Uh-oh.
which we can't really afford to do at this point.
Yeah, we've only got a number of them.
He's not going anywhere.
I confess, I do not watch racing very much, if
I was
at
going to
all.
ask you that if you didn't touch
One, because I don't have TV service.
Nice.
Like we have Netflix or whatever, the subscription services. But two, like, as much as I love cars, I spend so much of my world in cars, at events, at work, whatever, that my free time is, one, either driving cars, because I don't need any more like vicarious experience of cars, so I just want to get out and drive, or it's completely unrelated to cars. It's like I'm going home and pouring a glass of wine and sitting on the porch, and like in our house, other than the toy cars that Blaze has, we have nothing automotive related. I don't have posters. I don't have anything. Like the man cave, yes, but like at home, when I'm outside of here, it's like no cars. I very much enjoy racing. It's just like there's so little time in a day, and
Well, our one and only subscriber says, I'm absolutely watching it, so answer wisely.
Uh-oh.
I want to. I would love to. Somebody asked me today if I follow Formula One, and I'm like, I just can't keep up with it. And honestly, Sunday afternoon, would I rather watch a Formula One race or golf? I'm choosing golf because it's
Yeah.
relaxing.
You got to have some level of separation. This is all a lot of fun for me because I don't do cars for my day job.
Right.
I've got that. So I like to watch racing. I like to do all that stuff, but it's not what it's
Right.
all fun. So I respect that you got to have some level of separation.
Yes. And unfortunately, that comes along with like missing races and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But yeah. Cool. Well, we are approaching the end. We are at the end of our normal allotted time. Given the number of questions, we will do some tip talk, even though my voice is failing. We'll just have Tyler answer everything. So let us
Nobody
get
cares what I have to say.
Let's go to the props and flops. That will end our normal scheduled program. And you guys on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, thank you for all your questions and your tips and everything. You've been great tonight. And please stick around. We'll have the bonus round of tip talk after this. So, props and flops.
which is brought to you by Switch Cars. Switch Cars is the enthusiast dealership where we buy, sell, consign, service, and store only cars that we like ourselves. Check out our handpicked inventory at switchcars.com, and our pick of the week from Switch Cars inventory is...
It is a yellow 2000 Porsche Boxster 5-speed
Ooh.
with 150,000 miles. Bought this thing this morning. It's a few different shades of yellow. I'm not exactly sure what factory color it is because of the ambiguity there. And it's actually on our Instagram on a 2-day auction, right? So I started the bid at $4,500. I said the best offer over $4,500 in the next 48 hours takes the car home. It's a one-owner car, only has a minor on Carfax. It runs good. There's no warning lights on. And it's been maintained very well. It has 2 keys, neither of which work, but it has 2 of them. It's a manual. And it starts and goes down the road, and the top works with only a little bit of manual.
Didn't you say the bra is supportive?
The bra is supportive.
Which
the bra is supportive. Somebody offered less than $4,500. They offered $4,450, and I removed the bra. And I'm going to quote my own response because it was pretty awesome. I said, normally we charge extra to take off bras, just like the local dens of iniquity.
Hey-o.
But I have a pop quiz for you, Tyler. So purchase price aside and the new motor aside, because that was covered under warranty.
Oh, IMS?
I don't know, but it happened at low
Probably.
mileage, which is common with these, right? Like you look back at failures on the Boxers and 996s, they're all low mileage failures. And like once you get past 50,000 miles, they hardly ever fail. So there's a whole rabbit trail we could go down with that, but
I will still pay to replace my IMS because I have anxiety, Doug.
Well, but you also have the 3.6 engine, which is
Yeah,
the
dude.
highest failure rate. So
Yep.
I'm on board with that.
But it's got the vroom vrooms.
Yes, the vroom vrooms. Did you like my subtle joke though? I'm on board because bore scoring.
Oh, that was
That
good.
deep.
I think the 3.6
was
is also
deep.
the worst for bore scoring.
Yes, deep, like some of the pits from bore scoring. Anyway,
Low blow.
yeah, Porsche jokes. Also, the car's side note. It's been to the body shop 5 different times, which explains the multiple shades of yellow, but it never exceeded $2,000 repair bill at the body shop. It was all
Okay.
minor stuff.
All right.
So it's like the guy couldn't pull into his garage or something. Anyway, so I have a stack of receipts here. 150,000 miles on a Boxster, right? Which is a entry-level car at the time.
Yeah.
It's like 35K new, something like that in 2000, maybe.
And for those of you listening, this is a hefty stack
It
of
is
receipts.
2 inches if I don't
Pretty,
compress it.
pretty thick.
Right. So 150,000 miles. How much do you think it cost him to drive that?
How many, what's the year of the car? So, like, how long has it existed?
2,000.
So it's 23 years.
Yes.
I'm going to say everything in that stack is $40,000.
Not bad. 47,700.
Ooh, that's closer than I thought I'd be.
Yes. Yeah. So that's like 30 cents a mile approximately in maintenance.
That's the thing, is like when I said $40,000, I was like, oh God, that's a lot of money. But if you factor in how much you've enjoyed the car, ideally you're enjoying it with those
Right.
miles.
Klaus. He enjoyed it so much it was named Klaus.
That's kind of adorable.
It is. Other
So-
than the fact that all cars should be female names. This is not a misogynist thing. It's just like that's what they should be.
Look, Klaus had a good life.
Yes,
and he's looking
Klaus
for
had a
his next
wonderful
one.
life. Yes.
Go to Instagram.
Anyway, so yeah, $45,000, $48,000 in receipts plus whatever $35,000 purchase price, so $80,000 car you can buy for like $6,000 to $8,000 wherever the final bidding lies.
Your math might be a little funny, or your logic, but that, yep, you ain't.
Yeah.
You
But
ain't
that's
wrong.
not bad because Boxers kind of get a bad rap. I think that really isn't bad for. I mean, that excludes the warranty work. So if you add the cost of what was done under warranty, who
Oh,
knows?
the engine had to be extremely expensive.
Yeah, probably 10.
More than that.
Nah, in 2003. Anyway, we're getting off track. So flop of the week is Usually I make fun of everybody else, but I had a flop today. My auction on the Callaway C12 flopped.
Oh, womp womp.
Yep. It was presented beautifully. Amazing photos by Brian James. I thought everything was going to go right, especially since the Monterey auction set all these records. But apparently the C12 is not appreciated by collectors yet, which ironically, in 10 years, everybody's going to look back and go, oh, I could have bought it for $100-something grand then, and didn't. Because this is my problem with collectors. They all jump on the bandwagon after somebody else has jumped on. And it's like, here I am trying to sell the C12, and I'm like, this, people ask what a future collectible is, and I'm like, the car that nobody's talking about yet, the car that nobody else wants. That's what it is. Stop buying the thing that everybody else wants and buy the thing that people aren't talking about yet, because soon enough they will be, and that's when you reap the most profit. Anyway, so I guess I'm that guy with the C12. I'm just going to keep it until
You're just
it's
ahead of the curve there, Doug.
a little too far ahead. So, yep. So, flop of the week, that's me. The prop of the week, Tyler, this was a great suggestion, so I'm going to let you handle this one.
So I tried very hard to find this today to share it with another friend, but you had put it on your Instagram story. Over the weekend at Monterey, somebody posted a photo of a Ferrari Enzo that had been road tripped from Boston to Monterey over 3.5 days, and they left it dirty. So
Ain't
it's
no
full
cannonball,
of bugs. This whole thing, and the fact that somebody to road trip, that is impressive in any sports car, but an Enzo,
That's
so many
awesome.
If I won the lottery, I had gobs of money, I would do crap like that all the time. That is just amazing. So massive props, whoever that is, amazing.
Heck yes. And they left the bugs on it. I love that. I go to car shows with dirty cars all the time and get crap for it. And I'm like, yep, don't care. So that guy is my hero.
Seriously.
If you're listening, I want to buy you a beer. You don't need me to buy you a beer. You can afford it. You have an Enzo.
It's the principle.
I love it. Yes. Great. Well, the second prop of the week, for all the crap that we've given to Spectrum, and some of you on the live stream have suffered through some of the pixelated and intermittent live streams. We appreciate that. It is not Boxcast's problem. It was totally Spectrum, and they came out this week and found some issues in the line, and I think fixed us all up. So we should have great live streams going forward. So wonderful. The things that happen when you actually call and say, hey, I have a problem, instead of just complaining about the problem. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Please stick around for Tip Talk if you're watching us live. We really appreciate interacting with you. Thank you to our sponsors, Boxcast, Nuts for Sticks, Switch Cars, Celebrity Machines, Parallel Printworks, and Stephen Home Woodworking. Thanks to our producer and promoter, Ethan Huffnagel, and our Ed McMahon, Tyler Sanders. Our bumper music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream the full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. This episode will be available next Monday in audio format wherever you listen to podcasts. Head over to switchcast.live to find your favorite platform and catch up on old episodes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. as we look forward to edifying, educating, and entertaining you on the drive of your life.
Do you have that memorized by now?
I really don't.
Wow. That's okay.
Too much else floating in his head.
Too much
Fanfic
else.
Rocks.
It's like, what did Albert Einstein say? He never memorized formulas because he wanted to save brain space for things that, like, important things that,
Yeah.
because he could look up a formula, write it down.
So I always hated those tests of memorization. Like, this is dumb. I don't need to memorize this. Anywho, Fanfic Rocks, not a question, just paid us a super chat money.
Another dollar.
To say that if you have cable, you can watch the Bathurst 1000, or you can watch it online for free.
I don't have cable.
You can watch it online for free.
I can go online, yes.
Well,
I mean,
I guess
honestly,
if you have cable.
Some of not watching racing is the barrier to entry of, like, I can't just flip it on and be like, all right, I'm doing nothing, I'm going to watch it for a half an hour or something. It's like, oh, we have to go subscribe to this particular sports network that carries this race or this series. And then, like, oh, next month, oh, this is on some different network and it's on a paywall, or like
It is annoying.
I don't miss cable, but for these types of things, I kind of do, where it's just, okay, you pay for cable, and it's like, all right, it's on, here's the schedule. It's on at 6 p.m. on this cable channel, and that was it. and
Yeah.
I'm just fundamentally lazy and bad at technology. So
So I love golf, and I love watching the Masters, and they do it great, right? You go to masters.com, and you get to watch the whole thing, different angles. You watch different holes. You watch featured groups. It's all for free. You just go to the website. It's all there the entire weekend, that Thursday through Sunday. Why can't that be a thing for everything? You know?
Well, so I pay the suits at NBC for their Peacock subscription, so I can watch IMSA races.
yes,
But you can watch it elsewhere for free. Like the world can watch American sports car racing for free, and we got to pay for it.
Right.
Which is whatever. It's not a huge subscription, but then if you try to watch European stuff here, I think Motor Trend is your only option, and their commentators are they're fine. They're doing their best. They're not my favorite.
fine and don't sound the same.
But
There's some
because
incongruity
watching Le
there.
Mans here is pretty tough. I think you have to do it through Motor Trend. Anywho,
we can go over to TikTok here and find a few questions. Vlad Vektomov, I apologize. I know that's probably not how it's pronounced. Not probably. I know that's not how it's pronounced.
Is he a trucker?
Doggone it. What's your opinion on the E12S? I saw you had one in stock at some point. Don't know if you actually got to, and then it looks like the message stopped.
An E12S?
If you actually got to drive it around.
What is an E12?
E12. Sorry. He probably meant E12s. But yeah. What is your opinion? I'm going to read it verbatim. What is your opinion on E12S? Question mark. Saw you had one in stock at one point. Don't know if you actually got to drive it around.
Okay, so
Vlad, are you watching?
yes,
E12's
hopefully
BMW.
so. He was until I stereotyped him as a trucker. But
He
okay.
says he's an HVAC project manager.
Okay. BMW E12. Okay, so I'm sorry. So I googled it very quickly, and it's a generation of BMW. I'm not up on my E generations like I am on the Porsche generation, so I apologize there. Yeah, golly, a 5 Series back then. So I don't remember ever having one. The only one I remember having was an Alpina B7 Turbo, which I think was the next generation after an E12. And that thing was sweet, sort of. It was tuned horribly and didn't run right. And I think I took 5 people for a ride all at once. Dan, were you with me? Yeah, we went around the block and we broke down a mile away. And then thankfully it restarted and we made it back. But apart from bucking and backfiring, it was really, really cool. I'm sorry, I honestly don't remember having an E12 series, a generation 5 Series. Maybe we did, but I don't think we did. So, sorry.
Austin Lolo, thoughts on Pontiac Trans Am?
Poor man's Corvette. No, I think they're cool. I think GM's interior from 1975 to 2005 was the worst on the planet. I would love to own a 97 Camaro, like a pace car or one of the Callaways, or there's a really pretty green one posted on Facebook today with 6,000 miles, and it was an SLP car with a hood scoop, and it was amazing. And I'm like, oh, I would buy that. And then I looked at the awful wheel with a square airbag, and I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. This most hideous interior ever. I think it was the same wheel they used on a Vector M12, by the way. But anyway, no, I like Trans Ams. I think they're cool. They make good noises. Great inspiration for mullets and mustaches. Have sold a lot of light beer, but yeah, great exterior, great sound. I could never own one because the interior couldn't do it.
Grant Toms 588. What can you tell me about the Mercedes Brabus 190Es?
did you just say Brabus?
Brabus.
I can tell you how they're pronounced.
I'm sure you can. See, I don't. This will show my knowledge.
You need to take some of that Switchcast money and
of
buy yourself
90s
some
Mercedes.
Duolingo or whatever. I don't know.
He ran across in 1990, but can't find much info online.
Gotcha.
190Es.
About like that particular car or
Mercedes Brabus 190E.
okay.
90.
So I am not an expert on the Brabus 190E. I know a fair amount about Brabus. They were a legendary tuner,
I know how they're pronounced.
mostly of Mercedes back in the 80s and 90s. However, in terms of value, it's just like many of these tuners is some of them had serialized like actual models. Like this is a Brabus 190E, number 7 of 32 that we produced. And then there's a whole bunch of people and or dealerships or tuning shops that bought the Brabus parts and stuck them on the 190E because all those tuners, Brabus, Koenig, Gembala, Rentec, whatever, would sell parts, would sell tuning packages, etc., and people would install them. So there's a massive, massive value discrepancy between one that you can verify is an actual serialized, I don't know if they did serialization with Brabus, but like Shelby does and a number of other ones do. Or like roof. You have roof VIN cars versus this is a 911 converted to a roof package. So that's the one thing that you need to find out is, was this actually like a Brabus car or is it a car that somebody put a bunch of pieces on? And I think that's going to help you determine the value difference. But I really like pretty much everything they put out. They did some really, really cool packages. The little bit I'm finding about the 190E is pretty stinking awesome. It's like a stripped interior, full roll cage. It's like a 190E Evo, minus the crazy DTM body kit. So yeah, I'd rock it. But yeah, do your homework if you can on what's actually on there, if it's a real Brabus 3.6 or if it's just a bunch of parts thrown on it.
He says what I do know is it was bought from Mercedes and sent to Brabus.
Okay.
So.
I mean, it still could be a kit, right? So it's like Brabus isn't like Shelby where they were selling them new on Mercedes showroom floors. They were not an authorized tuner like that. So everybody would buy them and send them there. But again, is it an actual Brabus 3.6 model or is it just a 190E that got some parts? I don't know. Again, I don't know how to tell the distinction, but I think that's an important distinction to find out. As much paperwork as you can find or get with the car is important.
We do have a tipper on TikTok. Mr. Nobody wants to know what is the most beautiful 911 and why is it the Stinger GTR Carbon Edition 911?
I'm sorry, what?
What is the most beautiful 911 and why is it the Stinger GTR Carbon Edition?
What is the Stinger GTR Carbon Edition?
Can I disagree with the audience? Is
You're
that
allowed to, yeah.
I thought
yeah.
Kia.
This is just some carbon overdone body kit on a turbo.
So is he asking what is the most beautiful modified 911?
So it's a tongue in cheek. He just wants to know like what the most beautiful
Okay.
one is, and then he's giving his opinion that it's the Stinger GTR Carbon.
Has
Okay.
he seen a
tongue in
993?
cheek, kind of. Yeah.
I get it. He's making it funny. Okay. Not only am I old, but I'm slow. Just like my cars. 993 C2S for me has got to be up there. Wide body 993. Aero kit. That's
Did the Aero kit have the wing that's on the C4S over there?
yes,
I'm
that
not
is
a
the
fan.
Aero kit.
I'm not a massive fan of that wing. I would like it without it, actually.
What about the turbo wing?
The turbo wing is a different story.
Okay.
I am not a turbo car guy, but the 993 turbo is incredibly gorgeous.
Yes. 993 Turbo S might be it, although the ride height of the all-wheel drive sucks. So 993 Turbo S with like Euro ride height or lowered suspension, I think probably be the bee's knees.
We just know for sure it's not a 996. I love mine, but it's not beautiful.
Nice.
So I had a couple car collectors at my shop today, and they were just browsing, and one of them has a bunch of vintage Porsches and Alphas and some crazy stuff, an old Abarth, and he was looking at the low-mileage 993s, and his friend was ogling the 996 C4S we have, super
Which is
low mileage,
also amazing.
really clean car. Right, but it's a 996. It's a love it, hate it design, and the friend told the one guy, he's like, "What? You should buy this. How about this 996?" And the guy just goes, "I would never be caught dead in one of those fish."
Those fish.
He's not actually wrong, I gotta say.
Aw. Stand up for yourself, man.
No, I adore my car, but it's not like a classically beautiful 911. I ain't trying to make it something it isn't. I'm not putting those dumb headlight stickers on it like a bunch of people do.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
Right.
those are Boxster people mostly.
Yeah, dude, I'm in a couple of 996 Facebook groups. It's brutal in there.
Wait, what if you did?
Uh-oh.
What if you did
Here we go.
the headlight stickers plus the eyelashes?
Oh, God,
Like the
like
eyelashes
the bug
under the
eyelashes.
stickers? Yes.
Now we're cooking with fire.
Are we, though?
No.
Know what to get Tyler for Christmas.
We maybe. Oh. So XJ Haig on YouTube asked tonight, I think this is a good question. After seeing the Flexing Fest last week at Monterey, what is your favorite car event?
It's the one I haven't been to. Goodwood is really up on the list of I have to go. Amelia is really high on the list of favorites because it's like Monterey but accessible. Like, it's not crazy. Like, we can afford to rent a house on the beach within a mile of the event and go to parties and like do everything. It's a small enough feel, even though it's an amazing show. But you know, part of my love for that event is what we've made it, right? It's the people that go, right? If I just showed up to the event, it wouldn't be my favorite. It'd be awesome, but it's the experiences that we've made. On that level, Audrain is equally as good. Woodward was special. I don't know. I don't have a favorite. Honestly, like, I'm trying to do... Amelia is the one that I've done the most, and so that's probably my favorite. I've done it like 7 or 8 times, but I'm also trying to do like a different set of events every year because I want to experience as many possible types of events as I can, and take away as much experience. So ask me again in like 3 years, and I'll have like a full review of like everything we've done. Because the driving events are great too, like Smokey's GT, which is all Porsche GT people at one hotel in the Smoky Mountains, and you just drive for like 3 days, and they have like police escorts and fancy dinners and charity auctions and a bunch of driving. Like, that's pretty hard to beat too.
We have a question from Turbo TAHX, and he's really testing my pronunciation
TurboTax?
with this one. TAHX, not
TurboTax.
TurboTax with an
TurboTax,
H.
yeah.
TurboTax with an H. Didn't put that together. Can you, like I said, he's testing my pronunciation here. Can you give me input on an Alfa Stelvio Quadrifoglio?
No, don't do it.
Really interested in one. Check the pricing, or he's between that and a Porsche Macan GTS / turbo.
This is not hard. This is one of the easiest questions I've gotten. Thank you very much. I feel like everybody else is testing me with this. Like, what's your opinion on the W210 Brabus E12S? I'm like, oh. No, this is a really
Another
easy
one for
question.
the soundboard, Ethan. Let's get this time code.
Dang it. Alphas are beautiful. They're fun to drive. Dan here has one. But if you simply do a used search on Car Gurus and sort it by like how many of like take out how many have lemon titles, it's like 8 to 10% of them, which Porsches, if you go search for Porsche 911 and like try to eliminate lemon titles, there aren't any. There's none. Macan is an awesome SUV. The proportions are right. They're fun to drive. I don't traditionally like crossovers, but like if you're going to buy one, I want one that drives the most like a car, and the Macan is awesome. The GTS is, in my opinion, the best specimen of a 911 to buy, short of an actual GT car. The turbo is too much. It's I don't like the power curve, and it's just like kind of on off. It's way too much power. The GTS is a better driver's car. So hands down, easy answer for me. Not even a question. Macan GTS.
Cool. We want to do maybe one more, or
it's 9:30.
It is 9:30.
Yeah, we could do a bonus question, or I'm fine with shutting it down.
Why don't we? We'll take the couple that I've got left from YouTube here. We'll put them in the hopper for next time.
Okay.
We can get to them.
Yeah,
Works.
we'll do the same with TikTok.
So yeah, if we didn't get to your questions, apologies, but we got them logged.
That's
and
why we have next week.
We'll get to them.
You can subscribe like Nate, and maybe we'll do an exclusive. Jake, I'm sorry, it's close.
We've got one. Can you?
It's one name you had. Jake M.
Jake M. Yeah, and then we can do an exclusive subscriber Q&A. There we go. On location. I don't know what location.
Somewhere.